closest to him, you knew him the best. I'm just so sick of some of the misconceptions and things that people are saying online. And I just was like, you're the person to just like, let's get the truth out there.
Charlie was definitely on the brink of changing some of his perspectives. The truth is that Charlie was under immense pressure. That $150 million was spent on that, and it came from Bibi Netanyahu. He takes down the camera that is directly. So I'm wondering if the federal government has explored the possibility that somebody could have been under Charlie.
Grace and peace, everybody. You saw the thumbnail, you saw the title, so you know what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be entering into the sordid, dark world of Candaspiracy. And, before I get in here, I got to give Candace credit. I have got to give her kudos. She has been able to spin yarn in such a way that people are actually taking her seriously. Because I really think, in my mind, this is what I believe. Somebody on her team is playing with her teleprompter, and they're just putting the craziest wackadoodle stuff on the teleprompter, and Candace is just reading it. And lo and behold, this stuff has gotten into the zeitgeist about the $150 million. Charlie was converting to Catholicism, this, that, and the other. All these crazy theories. Because I just don't believe that I can't believe that she believes this type of stuff is real and logical. We're going to look at it. I just made just a little montage of some of the best Candaspiracies that we've heard really since, sadly, since Charlie Kirk was murdered. Here's some of the best ones. So let's bring it in. Let's go with no further ado.
The closest to him, you knew him the best. I'm just so sick of some of the misconceptions and things that people are saying online. And I just was like, you're the person to just like, let's get the truth out there.
Flashback.
Charlie was definitely on the brink of changing some of his perspectives. And I can tell you factually, Charlie was praying the rosary. Charlie was going to mass. He was speaking about Mary. And typically when those steps start taking place, you stop referring to yourself, as I did, as a Judeo-Christian.
She's posted a photo of her and Charlie and the kids in mass before. And somebody in the comment section said, oh, are you guys converting? And she said, no, we just like attending sometimes. So she herself had said no.
Yeah.
Was he becoming Catholic?
No. But he really loved Catholic mass. He had some really big theological hangups with that. You can go check the videos out, him debating with Michael Knowles, in good fun. I mean, they were dear friends, but they loved kind of debating the whole Protestant versus Catholic thing.
Another one.
The truth is that Charlie was under immense pressure, and he was facing financial threats over his shifting stance on Israel, over who he was hosting.
Because Turning Point was built by Zionist money. Turning Point was built by the Israeli donors.
Charlie was a friend of the Jewish people and a friend of Israel. Did he have opinions about the prosecution of the war? He thought their PR was abysmal, thought they were doing more harm than good in many ways for their own cause. So all of those things were true. And he was upset that he couldn't express those things freely without all of this pressure coming down on the organization. But, with Tucker, for example, we took some pushback. We lost some donors. And what's interesting is it wasn't necessarily Jewish donors, although there was, because that's a misconception about Turning Point's funding base, by the way, is, it's not a whole lot of Jewish donors. It's just not. There was always, I saw the comments online like, oh, the Jewish shekels or something it's all this gross stuff. It just wasn't true. And it isn't true.
Another one.
Netanyahu offered Turning Point $150 million for one purpose and one purpose only: to shill for Israel harder.
A source told me, and I would love to get this confirmed, I'm going to find this out, that $150 million was spent on that, and it came from Bibi Netanyahu. I would like to figure out if that's true.
Was Charlie offered $150 million from Israel?
As far as I know, no.
I had never heard anything like that. Everyone I've asked has said the same thing.
And by the way, just for what it's worth, it doesn't matter the amount that would have been coming down. We would have said no.
And there's evidence that is true.
Turning Point does not, Charlie would not accept foreign money.
Exactly.
We only took American money.
Another one.
He takes down the camera that is directly above where Charlie was sitting and would be able to provide, therefore, a lot of a lot of insight. And then you can see he kind of sits the camera onto the desk, and it looks like he removes the SIM card from it, or the SD card. The individual who very quickly, I think 4 minutes after Charlie was shot, went and took the camera down and moved his chair and stood up and took the camera down, like, literally 4 or 5 minutes after he was shot. I want to let you know, I was able to figure out who that person was because I recognized one of the individuals, and I reached out to that individual and I said, you know, I've known you for a long time and I would like to see the footage. I would like to see the footage, and I think the world would trust me. If there's nothing weird that happened on that day, and there's about 4 or 5 cameras on that day, I'm not going to publish the footage, but I want to see it with my own 2 eyes, so I can stand on this platform, so I can sit here on this platform, and I can say to the world, no funny business happened. Truly, we can all go home. It was Tyler Robinson, and he acted alone, and there was nobody else there, and this kid just, I guess, after having a life where he didn't bother anybody, just woke up one day and chose violence, and then decided to explain every layer of what he had done that day via text messages. I want to be able to look people in the eye honestly and say that. So I want to see all of his footage. So I am working to get to the bottom of it. Okay. I know there's a lot of conspiracy theories floating in about the security guard and people thinking he was making gestures. I know that security person. He's a good guy. It would shock me. I usually get a vibe about somebody. Not that guy. Not the guy that they say he's like rolling up. He tends to do that, roll up his sleeves. I don't buy that one. Okay. I don't buy that one. And, but here's the thing. That's my gut. My gut has led me in the right way. And I want you guys to know that once I look at all the footage from every angle, if I'm putting in this formal request and they said they would speak to the lawyers, I think the world will trust me to say there was no funny business and this is exactly what happened. So I'm not here. I'm not in the business of smearing, okay? I need answers. And I don't like the fact that people are telling small lies and they're misrepresenting things, okay?
Why did our team start taking down cameras immediately?
That was because even in the shock, there was an understanding that the proximity of those cameras were going to be evidence, and they wanted to make sure that it didn't get stolen out of the cameras. But B, they didn't want anybody to run in. I mean, there was those videos of the kid running and grabbing the hats.
Yeah.
So there was an understanding. I mean, I talked to the team on that, and they said, because we know people can be evil.
Another one.
So I'm wondering if the federal government has explored the possibility that somebody could have been under Charlie and done that while everyone's looking around and thinking that a shot went off from here, if that was just maybe like decoy number 2 and actually Charlie was shot from beneath him. Maybe everyone's looking up when we should be looking below, right?
Does Erica have full confidence that we got the shooter, the right shooter?
I think so. And I also think, I think we're waiting to see if there's more details that will follow. Who knew in advance? Who radicalized them? Was there a funding network? All of that stuff I think is fair and open-ended questions that we can keep asking, and we should. And so, yeah, I'm very aware that there are other theories of the case. There's a pretty high level of confidence that this is the truth and that they got the guy. And now we need to see how deep the rabbit hole goes.
All right. So what we have here is Turning Point and their representatives have answered the most salient questions put out there. The $150 million. Why did they remove the cameras? Is Tyler Robinson the person that we believe did this? Was he converting to Catholicism? Had he changed his views on other areas? And I think that's fair. And I don't think that was, mismatch or whatnot. I'll leave the link for the full video and dialogue and podcast down in the description. I think we need to, at this point now, start looking at Candace honestly and asking her to stop or start giving up your own evidence, because there's tons of other things from Benjamin Netanyahu in that letter to other things and what happened with the intervention in the Hamptons. There's tons of other things that have come up, and Candace has never addressed them robustly and said, I was wrong. My intel was wrong. What I said about this was not correct. Nothing like that. She just moves on to the next thing. New conspiracy. And I need y'all to start holding her accountable, just like y'all try to hold me. So let me know what you think down in the comments below. Do you think that this is a substantive answer? Do you agree with this until further notice? Can you accept these? Or do you think that there's other things that we need to look at in real time right now? Let me know. I'd love to hear what you think about it. Until next time, everybody, grace and peace. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Jay Witt Podcast. If you enjoyed today's show, please do me a favor and hit me up with that 3-piece special. Like the video, subscribe, and of course, share it with somebody who would also enjoy this type of content. And make sure you leave a comment because I do pin the best comments to the top. So thank you so much for tuning in today. And until next time, everybody, grace and peace.